I've heard what you said in the past about me, but like I said, I've heard what you said in the past about me, but like I said, show of hands, how many people screen recording? Nah, I just don't care anymore. Nope. You still don't know how? Cool. My old one won't do it though. I don't know why. Morning. I don't know who you are, but morning. That's somebody just made that account probably. Oh look, there's my live. There's a lot. Yep. It's sad. Very sad. Work late tonight. Yay me. Not really. Guess who's on? I knew she would. They got my name above the picture. Jenn. Jenn. Let's listen to them because they're listening to me. again, so we're just gonna sit here with like they are.
Oh, I'm so sorry, April. April. You're welcome, April. Listen to it.
Because I'm getting ready for work here in a second. And it's not an echo, really. It's just them streaming me again, as usual. They have nothing better to do.
Happy heavenly birthday to your dad, April. Happy heavenly birthday to your dad, April. Yes, Robin. Yes, Robin. I sure can, Holly's 142. always 142. I sure can always 142. Thank you, Trixie.
What up?
Not much.
You know, you're never going to find peace on this app.
They're never going to stop, man. And
I
I
mean, it's
showed
not
plenty.
never going to. A couple weeks ago, don't trust anybody.
I
You
know, but
can't
man, they
trust
were.
anybody.
I
You
know, but
can't
man, they
trust
were.
anybody on this. Jen, you've got to remember, you know, whoever this Betty person is,
I don't know.
you could just bend over and just get out of here. If they don't want to come in on a real account, they don't deserve it. They don't deserve to be in here. You know, stop being the P word and come in on your regular account. You want to have a conversation with somebody, do it that way. But you're never going to find peace because listen, a lot of these people met you because of a very negative thing. Okay,
Yeah.
they met you. They met you when you were begging. When people were giving you money, and didn't know what you were all about. And there's people that will never get over that.
Nope.
And listen, and Jen, that's their right. You know, that's their right to do that. Um, you know, people will always hold that against you. Um, and those people, you know, they don't need to be in your life and they don't need to be in your lives. And like right now, you know, and I respect that. You know, they're angry and they will never, that will never change. And you got to respect that and you got to move on. There's people that are going to try to become friendly with you because they want to know what the fuck is going on with you. And that's it. They don't give a shit about you otherwise.
Why that group
They
did
just
that?
want they just want to know what your day-to-day life is so they can have information on you.
I work,
And
work,
that's
work.
it. They don't care about you. And you know what? Those people can go fuck themselves because I am
And I
so
just want to.
tired.
I just want to let everybody know that I left that Facebook group. I did. They didn't leave me. I left them because that's all they did was sit and stream everybody and talk bad about everybody.
You know what? And I don't even know what that's all about. I have an idea of who's involved in that and what's going on with that and just look at the players and that's all you have to know. Okay? But again, you know, you're not going to find any peace on here because there's always people that are going to have an axe to grind with you. You know, I learned about you because I saw you begging on here.
Yep.
And you were begging hardcore and you stopped doing that. And, you know, as I said, I have respect for those people that are ticked off, you know, because they've given you money in the past and all that stuff. And again, I respect them. However, they want to look at you now, that's their opinion and that's their right to do it. But
Right.
what I am, what I'm getting sick of is I'm getting sick of all this drama.
Yep.
And I mean straight across the TikTok boards. You know, um, you have not come on this app and asked for anything. Okay.
No, because if I
Have
want
you?
anything and I'll work extra hours at work and make the money and get what I want.
Yep. And you know, I'm gonna say a couple things, Jen, a couple things that you're probably not gonna like. Okay,
Okay.
but they are the truth. And you know, sometimes you know you've asked me for my opinion, and I've been honest with you. You are how old are you now, Jen?
47.
47. Shit, I don't even remember 47. It was so long ago. Um,
You're not that
you're
old.
40. I'm older than you quite a bit. But listen, 47 years old, you make the decisions in your life. Don't let these fucking people, you know, tell you what to do, all that stuff. You're an adult, you're working, you got your own money. Don't rely on people to point you in the right direction. You know, use your own personal compass now because you don't. you don't need other people to tell you what to do, tell you who to hang out with, tell you to do whatever. And when somebody starts telling you that, tell them to go fuck off because you can do it yourself. A suggestion I'm going to make to you: take it or leave it. Stick it up your butt. I really don't care. But with your beneficiary stuff, my recommendation: put it in your daughter's name because all these other people, you put it in Teresa's name in the past, you put in this person's name. They do something with it in the end where you put it in your daughter's name or your grandkids' names because and any of these people, they're constantly coming in and out of your life. um they don't deserve anything. They don't deserve a damn thing. Put it somewhere where it will stay and you don't have to keep moving it around. um it would be a nice gesture down the road. um God forbid if that ever happened. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, but, and again, take it or leave it. I'm just throwing stuff out there. You are an adult. You do what the hell you want. But, all I'm saying is do it by yourself. You don't need anybody, um, anybody doing anything for you or, telling you how to run your life. Take There's a lot of people on here that have given me advice and I've taken it or left it. Same thing with you, but don't rely on that. Use your own common sense and do your own thing.
They just got in my head and they told me that this is how a friend should be. It's to sit and shut up and listen and do what they
Yeah,
said, and that's what I was doing.
but you're smarter than that. I mean, you're smarter than that, Jen. Come on.
They told me when I
Don't.
could go live. They told me when yeah.
Well, and that should be a big fat red flag for you. If people are telling you that. Just you do your own thing. Don't let them control your life. Don't let. I mean, that's just. I'm sure, part of that is true, but you can't use that as a crutch either. Because I see that all the time on here with Sean. Sean's always like, oh, well, people told me to go on, so I went on. Bullshit. I mean, ultimately, it's your own decision. It's Sean's decision. You do whatever the hell you want. Don't rely on anybody else to make decisions for you.
Right. And when I got moved, it was kind of hard for me to even think about going live because in the mornings during the week, I go to counseling, I go to group counseling, I go to meetings, and then I go to work. You know what I mean? And then I'm in the middle, I'm walking honey and, you know, just doing my thing here. And then it's kind of hard for me to go live. But
You need to take time and you need to spend time with people off this app. 99% of them, it doesn't sound like they're really your friends. And if it's people that are constantly rapping your friends, they're just about the drama.
right, because I got to try to get my stuff and my house key and mailbox key back from Scotty's wife because Scotty told her all this stuff. And if I hated her or talked bad about her, why would I give her my extra house key?
Why would you give her your house key and your mailbox key anyways? What the hell?
Oh, because if I had an emergency, because I had her down in a case of emergency to call her, you know what I mean? And she just had it to where like she was that they were the only ones in my life, and it's just the way they did it was just crazy.
Yeah, well, that was a opinion. My opinion, that was a mistake. I mean, don't give anybody access to your personal stuff. You know.
She's got a few of my important things, and I'm meeting up with the police officer today before I go into work and trying to go get that or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And
No,
I've
I
called
mean,
Women Helping Women and about the issue and about what she did because she told them she was an advocate and everything, and she's not.
hmm well, what you need to do. You got the weekend here. Um, next week, just forget all this bullshit. Just start spending time with people off of TikTok, people that are real, people that you could actually see in real life that, are new people that are accepting you for who you are right now. Um, and that's it, because people on here, they are going to have a lot of people on here are going to have a different agenda with you, and it's just those, like I said, 99% of the people on here are never going to be your friends. They're never going to support you to the end. They're not going to do shit on here for you. um and it's just not worth the aggravation. It's not worth the aggravation. um you're always going to be streamed by somebody. And if you can handle that, you just do your thing, what you want to do on here. But it's about time. Try to find those people off of this app that you can be friends with, in real life, and forget about this stuff. I mean, you gotta think about it. The reason why you started on TikTok was not because you were doing DIY projects. I mean, let's face it. It's not like you were you were crocheting or something, right? I mean,
Right. I mean,
you can't.
like before that, when I came on TikTok, yeah, ultimately at the end of the day, it is my fault because I allowed all that shit to happen. But that's the past. That's not me today.
Yeah,
If I want to go buy something special or whatever, I'll go work extra hours for that. But at the end of the day, it was all my fault. I allowed all that to happen, just like with all these women. It's all my fault. I allowed that to
well,
happen.
well, listen. Let's focus in, on exactly what that is. Your main thing when you started on TikTok, if I'm not mistaken, was because you needed money, right?
Right.
Okay. So, I mean, that's the reason why you started on TikTok. Forget about everything else that's gone on since then. The main reason was that. Okay? So, when you start a platform, and that was the main reason why you started, unfortunately, that's going to stick to you. Regardless of if you become better, if you change your lifestyle, all that stuff. So that's going to always follow you, Jen. And because it's going to follow you, you're always going to have people that sit back here and say, you know what, that fucker got me for $150. Whether it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, it's going to happen. And again, you have admitted the fact that you understand that,
Or
you
that
know?
fucker got me for 1800. It is what it is. But Jen, like what Scammy's saying is 100% correct. I'm going to double down. She said you came on here for money. You came on here for a very negative, toxic reason. The money wasn't just for bills, and we know this, right? So when you built your platform and your online presence, maybe two, possibly three people I would actually consider friends outside of this platform, outside of any platform. I, I have a platform. I, I have a, and I mean, I made here designing virtual things people would never touch for their avatars. And I had staff on my sim, and there was one in particular named Jay, and he had this very hot man as his real life profile picture, and all these women believed his male avatar was the picture he used for his profile. He had millions of excuses not to go on voice chat, right? And he got into relationships with these women, sent him money. It was never a man at all. It was a woman in the UK. You know, so you just never know who you're dealing with and what their intentions are when you're on an app. Even in person these days. So you have to be more cautious on what on social media and just who you trust in general.
And the other thing is that there are a lot of times that there's things that you want to say. There's things that you want to type to somebody in a text. There's times you want to message somebody and say something. And a lot of these people, and I messages that you were showing last night, I didn't catch the live because I was asleep. I saw the replay though. That's a really big mistake to put stuff like that in a chat. And I saw your stuff and I'm not even talking about that, but opinions are great. But unfortunately, in this day and age, you've got to watch out what you put in a text message because either way, it's going to get out somehow. And you know what? We're in a culture here on TikTok where nothing is private anymore. A private message is not private anymore. And whenever somebody reaches out to me and wants an opinion on something or wants that, you really have to think twice before you say anything. And sometimes it's better off not saying anything. And if you're on a live and there's something you really want to say about somebody, you just don't say it. And then when you're offline, you like scream to your dog about it or something and vent that way because nothing is sacred anymore on this app or on text messages or on phone calls. Nothing is sacred.
The funny thing about that is Honey speaks back, honestly.
Well, sometimes you get your best advice from your pets. And, and they don't talk.
I don't know. We've heard some of my cats talk back on live, so they think they have an opinion, but until they pay for their own food, their opinion does not matter.
And the last thing I just want to say, I look back to videos like last year that are popping up in my memories that I made about you. And I look at you now and I will say there is a complete difference, okay, in what you were doing on this app a year ago, what you were doing on this app a year and a half ago. I mean, am I ready to say 100% that you're doing awesome? To be honest, I'm not because, the whole thing with, and you and I have discussed this in messages, the whole thing with calling the police on T, that there still will never be any justification for that. And, to me, that kind of was the old ways of how you used to be. And the fact that, that happened, a month ago, whatever, that was disappointing just because I thought that you were beyond all that. And let's, I mean, it's done with, whatever, but I mean, other than that, you have been, I think that you have been doing very, very well. We all know you're working. We all know that, you're not on here doing what you used to do. And you should focus on that and, continue on and try not to get too caught up in this drama. I mean, it's just not worth it. It's really not worth it.
Thanks.
No, I agree. I even told you in a live I was proud of you. You've come a long way. You just have to stay on that path, and not let the other shit get to you. Like I've told my kids and everyone
It's
else.
hard though.
It is, but you have to pick your battles. What's more important to you? Your sanity or what somebody on TikTok thinks of you? Thank you.
But that's the whole point. Is I came on this app in the beginning. Everybody knows to get money and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I made myself into a piece of shit, and trying to pull myself out of that and show people that I'm
Well,
not a piece of shit is fucking hard.
Well,
that's not completely true. The internet is a piece of shit. I mean, it's a hot steaming pile of dramatic shit.
Believe me,
So,
T came in my box last night, and I sat there and listened, and she announced it really loud that I was a piece of shit.
and that's her opinion, and she can have that opinion. Everyone has opinions. Opinions are like assholes. We just don't have to always show everybody our assholes. Could you imagine if we all walked around with our butt cheeks spread, showing
well,
everyone our
Oh my God,
assholes?
no.
Okay.
again though, also, Jen, you wouldn't be very happy if out of the blue somebody called the cops on you.
They
I mean,
have several hundred times
well,
at Sober Living. They did.
and I was there for those, and the
And
ones
they
that
tried to get me kicked out of Sober Living just by calling my Sober Living just to be
but
calling. And yeah.
it didn't work though, right?
Right. It doesn't matter what they did, what I did. What I did was wrong. I admit what I did was wrong in front of 800 people the other day. I did a public apology to T. And then I've always heard T say that once you apologize and hold yourself accountable for what you did, forget about it. But they keep bringing it back up. Everybody does. Okay, I did it. I didn't deny it.
Okay, but
What are you
Yeah.
talking about exactly?
calling the police on them.
Calling the cops to her house.
Okay.
So, Jen, I'm going to tell you. You know my situation with Daniel. He has continuously, up until I stopped taking his calls, and I have an update to tell you later, Scammy. I'll text you. But continuously tells me, I said I'm sorry. I'm taking accountability. Can you please forgive me? And you know what? I appreciate his apology and I appreciate he's taking accountability, but no, I can't forgive him. And the amount of anger that I still have is just fuming and fuming and fuming. And I don't know if it's ever going to go away, right? So you have to allow people to have that opinion, to deal with things as they need to deal with it. You know, you said you're sorry, you're taking accountability, you did your part. It does not mean
I
you
didn't
can
dodge
influence
the
how
door.
she's going to, how she's going to move forward with it, right? You
Right.
did,
Yeah.
you did yours.
Saying I'm taking accountability for it and saying I'm sorry is good. I mean, you're making that step, but that doesn't mean that people have to accept it. You
Well,
know,
she accepted it on my live. She said, "I accept your apology." She said that.
right? Well, you
So
know,
I mean, they can take whatever they want to and run with it because I know what I'm doing every day. No, but everybody on this app is not. They don't wake up with me. They don't go to work with me. They don't know what I do every day. All I
right?
do is go to my meetings, go to my counseling, walk honey, and go to work. I work 51 to 60 hours a week because we're shorthanded. And I'm proud of myself because I didn't used to do that. I didn't used to come on this app and say, yeah, I did something wrong. I'm sorry. I never done that.
Yeah, I agree with that because during the times where you were doing what you used to do on here, you never did apologize. And you're doing that now. But again, I mean, saying you're sorry or saying that you take accountability isn't like an eraser that gets rid of everything.
Right.
Some
I mean,
people will accept that. Some people will accept that and they'll say, okay. Some people will accept it, but still not, respect what you're doing. And again, that's their right to do it. But this app, this app is never going to be a positive thing for you. It's not.
it's
And
not.
I hate to say that, but so your two choices are staying on this app and having to deal with the stuff that you're dealing with, or not be on the app anymore and make relationships off of social media. And that's a decision that you will ultimately make, but you've got to remember that regardless of the accountability you take, or this your sorries and all that you make, that doesn't mean that everybody's gonna like you.
Nope. But ultimately, they don't have to do what they're. I mean, I can't control what other people do. I'm just going to stop trying to do that. But people can keep saying that I dox people. I don't have time to look people up like that. I don't have time to do that stuff. I am constantly busy.
Yeah.
I mean, constantly busy.
You know,
And the guy that I'm been talking to, you know, I mean, I really can't say who he is, but hey, he brings me dinner, we talk, stuff like that. I've shown him everything on TikTok. I told him to look me up. I said, "Yep, that was me back in the day." And you know what? He still accepts me.
yeah, and that's good because he doesn't know you from this app. Okay,
The
and
only
that's
thing that
not.
I sent out was the same messages that was sent to me last year, and that was sent to Dora, and I could prove that. And Dora even admits it's the other group. I have the text messages, so I don't know why people keep saying it's me. It's definitely not me. I don't want to waste my money on trying to figure who people are. I waste my money on a pair of shoes. I sent it to Dora because Dora asked me to send it to her because she said she deleted it out of her phone because she didn't have room in her phone anymore, so she deleted it. And she needed that. I don't know why she needed it, but she had me send it. And it's the same thing somebody sent to me. Like back last year, she already had it once. That's the only thing I sent. And that was to Dora.
Yeah, and I don't know. Listen, I don't know
I'm
anything
confused
about.
on that.
I've seen screenshots of stuff. I've seen stuff. Personally, I've looked at it and I've questioned it, the authenticity of it. I'm not going to get involved in that stuff because that has nothing to do with me.
And I
But
and I showed messages last night from Just Jules that she did all this and made it look like me just for fun. I mean, I said I showed it live last night when I should have been sleeping.
I mean,
Okay.
KY girl put something in there. Jen, stop sending things to Dora. It's not used for good intentions. But I mean, listen, KY girl just kind of on the other end of that, remember that, and Dora said it on a live, she gave Jen a text now number for her to send stuff. So, I mean,
And I sent a screenshot to Just Jules, and Just Jules has that number, and I could show that screenshot. But I'm not going to do all that because it's just not worth it, really. We're all just going to keep going in circles, going in circles. That's exactly what my sponsor says. This is all going to be talked in circles. Everybody's going to make it look like it's me. Because why? Look what I've done in the past. Nobody's going to believe a damn thing I say. And that's
and
okay today because they're allowed to believe. They can believe whatever they want because I know me.
and that's unfortunately the way it is. I mean, and that's like getting back to what I originally said. There's always going to be people. Back to what I originally said. There's always going to be people.
I'm doing great. I'm doing this. I'm good. And showing people that I'm still doing good. That's all I can pay them right now.
But Jen, people that are never going to believe you and don't like you, they don't care about that. Do you know
I
what I
know.
mean? And everybody else that has, followed you for however long now, there are people that are very happy about that you're doing better and you're working and all that. You
And
know,
I have a right to come on here and show everybody that hey, as long as I'm showing I'm good, that's good enough. And I don't come on here very often because I'm way too busy to be on here. But hey, when I do come on, I like to show the people that do matter, the ones that do follow me, the ones that are real. Hey, I'm doing okay.
and we and everybody, everybody, regardless of how they feel about you, they know that you're working and they know you're doing well. So, I mean, you don't need to tell everybody that. We know, I mean, you're not on here anymore doing what you used to do. So, you're obviously doing much better. You know what I mean? Um,
Right?
what Robin said, I told you, Jen, that I was glad you were finally bettering yourself. Absolutely. Many of us feel that way. Many of us feel that way. And that's all that's got to be said. I
And
mean,
like I said, if I done anything wrong to anybody, I apologize. But me doing good should be proof enough that I finally got it. Sorry it took me so damn long, but sometimes I gotta get it in the head with a stupid stick or something. I don't know. But you know, I'm sorry, it took me so long for real. I should have been doing this from the start and not on TikTok begging. And I
Well,
don't know how many times I could say that. I look back at the old videos that everybody has of me, and that's not me. That is not me at all.
not anymore. Not
No,
anymore.
not anymore. Because I don't even want people to send me gifts or no roses, no nothing like that. Because I don't want none of that. I can make my own money now. Because I love
Well,
my job.
just be careful. Be careful with, who you open up to on this app. Be careful with people that are reaching out to say that they want to help you. Find real people in life, you know, people that you can see in person and, all that, and focus in on those people, you
And
know.
let me say this real quick before you go. When you are by yourself and alone, and you feel like the whole world's against you, that one person comes along and offers friendship, you're going to cling on to that person. And that's the way it started with Scotty's wife and Kelly. And then it turned into the group on Facebook. And all they did all day was stream everybody and talk bad about everybody. That's why I left them. Because
And,
I'm not like that anymore.
and I agree with you on that. I agree with you that when you're in a position that you were in and somebody reaches out to you, we as human beings, we crave friendship. We crave somebody that we can talk to. Um, we look for that. And when you're in a position like you said you were, and somebody does that, you don't want to think that it could be for any other reason than a friendship. But unfortunately, on this app, this app has, shown me that you really can't trust anybody. You have to be very careful with who you become quote unquote friends with. And you have to that everything is on the up and up before you um, agree to, give somebody your email or give somebody your phone number or something like that. You got to be really careful. And
And that's
that
why they always wanted to be on a video call with me through Facebook Messenger. And I set the phone up by the window and I would just go work, 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 and because they wanted to see what I did every day, all day. And when they would call and I didn't answer, I would get backlash from them. And it was like they were like, I was, I don't
well,
know, I was a puppet on a string.
that should have been a red flag.
I know.
That should
But
have been a red flag.
when you don't have any friends or family, and you're scared of the whole outside world, I was there because I thought they were being real. Because we went through the whole thing, was sitting there, and they apologized, and I got to ask them one question apiece, and they answered it, and they apologized, and they were lying to my face the whole time. That right there is that
Well,
right there does something to you.
yep, yep. And there's been a lot of people that I've come across on this app that have turned out to not be who I thought they were. All you can do is lick your wounds and move on. That's it.
My neighbor's knocking at the door. I gotta go because we gotta move my chairs off the porch. So,
Okay. Good luck, Jen.
uh, yep. Thanks for the time, guys, and I'll see y'all later.
Danielle's girl mom of a princess. Welcome in. Anybody have any other questions? Tiffany with the heart me. You guys don't forget to register for my battle tonight. It is the March Madness battle. It's a big one. It's a doozy. It's a no power up. It's what we need to move on to the next round. Round two. Round two. We got this. Sweet P, welcome in, love. DJ, BB Creates, welcome in. Good morning. Also, don't forget to claim your points. You guys, I forget to claim my points in all rooms. I try to go back in and claim them, and it's so stressful. The burnt out, 9 to 5. Let's go. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody's Saturday? What is everybody doing this Saturday? I want to vicariously live through you. I'm going to get off here, and I'm going to, Chris and I be running the streets of TikTok together, winning battles for people and stuff in the middle of the night. In the middle of the night. Chris, what are you doing? I love. How are you? MVP. I've got to set up three different messenger accounts today. Well, no, total of 6 now. Sweet P, welcome in. Anyways, it's March Madness, y'all. We have to win this round to go in. Carly and MEK. Carly's in the chat right now. They worked so hard. Finishing up a box battle. Just finished up a box battle. How are you? I'm good. I'm good. Just doing face care. Because I gotta moisturize that face after I destroy it with makeup on Friday nights. Looking like a whole clown. Looking like a whole clown. Broussard Fam Bam. Carly, thank you for all your hard work that you guys put into this March Madness. I know there's been stuff that's gone on with it, and thank you. Thank you for working hard to put this together. You have helped so many creators meet each other in each other's community. I put the lotion on the skin. I do. Maymay, thank you. Maymay's going on the list. Maymay! We are chatting about the March Madness and my new business of selling GLP-1. But Carly and MEK did all of this for March Madness, and they did a really good job. The battles are spread out. The battles aren't back to back to back to back to back, where it's overwhelming on communities. Like, they did really good with this. I participated in one other tournament, and it was a great tournament. Don't get me wrong, but they were so stacked on each other. Jamie, what do you need help with? It keeps telling me the website name must be... Okay, so I had that problem too. In your name, it can't have any, it only can have letters and numbers. It can't have any symbols. So when you're creating your account, take your email out. Like mine is Shay No Drama Llama. So when you're doing your to make your website, it can't have any characters. It has to be just letters and numbers. That will help. So erase your email from there because it automatically puts your email right there. I had that problem too. Delete that. I see Zena just wrote Zena. You could write just Jamie. Just have your website be Jamie. Mama E, welcome in, baby. Bo, good morning, Bo. Anyways, back to the battles. We battle in 4 minutes. Bo, you know it, babe. You know it. Jamie, welcome back. They did a really good job of spacing it out so it wasn't overwhelming, and I like that. I like that there's no power-ups, so your team does not have to be bombarded. BB Creates bombarded with all the power. BB Creates. I like being in different tournaments and learning about it, learning the different styles that people do. I will say, you got to request me, Bo. Otherwise, you request me, love. I do like being in tournaments that aren't tournaments where you can throw 11 gloves. That trying to prep for 11 glove tournaments is a lot of work. It's a lot of work on your community.